Welcome to the Man Eater channel, and this is part two of the Black Man Fucked Up. Now, let me go to the actual video. This is what I'm going to. Okay, so we're going to talk about Ibrahim Toure today. He is from Burkina Faso, and all of the black men were really celebrating and saluting this guy because he is the proclaimed leader of African sovereignty. So all the black men were twerking in the comment sections of the videos of this guy here, Ibrahim Toure, the leader of Burkina Faso, who is now in this picture hugging Vladimir Putin, leader of Russia. So that's a cute picture. I just thought it's very cute. He seems very happy, seems very fatherly, you know. Very I'm so happy I'm being accepted. But everybody was, twerking in the comments from the black community, especially, and they were so excited about this guy. Yes, get the French out. Yes, get our American military out, who we have family members in. Get them out and remove them from a great vantage point so that they could help stop the some of the civil war outbreaks that are going on over there. I can't say it's the Fulani, but the people of Burkina Faso or Niger or whatever, the people over there, they have some wars and things going on, some type of conflicts going on over there. So our people were there, warning people, letting them know how to get prepared and slowing it up a little bit like that. And so for some reason that was wrong for us to be doing that. And a lot of Americans, especially American Negroes, were in support of our military being moved from that vantage point. And they saw this as creating some type of sovereignty for Africa, when in actuality, it did not. Okay, and I'm going to show you how it didn't and how it's foolish or whatever to keep this connection. And I don't understand. It's very confusing to people like me, because if we are delineating, I don't understand what the connection is other than the interest that we have over there. I don't understand what the connection is, because we've already exposed the fact that there hasn't been any fruitful financial development from Pan Africanism. We've already debunked that a long time ago. Um, there isn't anybody that can say they have any relatives from America that live or reside in any parts of Africa. So you really don't have any connection there. And like I said, there's no financial connection. Like, there is no business. The few black people that have gone over there, they haven't done very well as of late. We saw a guy, I think he might have been a Caribbean man or whatever, but he was a melanated man, and they didn't consider him as being a part of them. So he supposedly had a 50-year lease, and they demolished his property. He had a nice property there with a vegan restaurant attached to it. To my understanding, some of the locals would come there to buy vegan food or whatever, but they just demolished it, and they let people just like ransack and run through and steal everything he had. And there are a few other women, American women, who went out there, and they were treated very poorly, poor living circumstances. They paid for better and received the worst possible. Um, it was very hard for these women to communicate and get any help in regards to what was going on to them. A lot of times they spoke of the courts. If you go in the court system, it's like a bribery system, a lot of corruption there, and they're usually going to be in favor of the local there. So you don't have any justice there. So I'm very confused about this connection, this African American thing. We are not African Americans. People who are born in Africa are African Americans. It doesn't matter if they are Indian. It doesn't matter if they are Chinese. If they are born in Africa and their parents are there legally, then they are citizens of that country. And this is what we're saying here. This is the problem that we're having today about citizenship. Okay, so if somebody goes through the process legally and they come to America and they obtain their citizenship, they get sworn in, they go through the whole process. Eventually, they'll become a citizen, and when they give birth to children, those children will be considered American citizens. So it doesn't matter what your ethnic group is or where you originally come from. If you go through the process of a country, you now obtain the citizenship of that country. Some people give you dual citizenship, some people have complete citizenship, right? And so most people come to America, they have complete American citizenship. Most people don't have dual citizenship. So when they have children, those children are citizens of America, no matter their ethnic group. So it's a stupid argument to say that because somebody is a different ethnic group and they're born in Africa, and their parents have rights to be there. I'm not saying somebody there who's held up illegally, but somebody who has the rights to be there and went through the process. Clearly, their children are going to be considered citizens of that country because they went through the process. Unless maybe they have dual citizenship. If you have dual citizenship, maybe the rules are a little bit different, but I can't see why. So that is a foolish argument. You can't refute that. Sorry. But it is what it is. But yeah, they were really twerking in the comments, and I want to go over that next. But like I said, I really don't understand this constant connection. It's kind of like schizophrenic because on the one hand, black men are like, we're going to delineate, the tethers, and then on the other hand, you're like, well, with some of us are African, and this and that and third. So I know it's very schizophrenic to me, or bipolar or whatever, and a lot of us just want a good understanding of it. But so this is your great leader, guys, hugging on Putin. So I'm going to get to you how or what he has to do to maintain this funding that he's going to get from the IMF. And that's just to show black men, you messed up here. Like you worshiping somebody who is really not about sovereignty. He's just clout chasing. This is the era of clout chasing. I guess because you're not on African soil, maybe you don't understand the clout chase of an African person. But pretty much that's what Torre did. He just did a huge clout chase. He saw the way everybody's talking on social media, and he just got in on it. Okay, so let me show you what he has to do for the IMF. Yep. So let me show you what the great sovereignty of Africa, King Torre, has to do in order to get this funding, right? So let's go over the article. And this is not really like in disrespect of black men or whatever, but it's just like certain things that, you do that irritate some of us. It really annoys some of us or whatever. So let's go over this article a little bit. I mean, really, black men should look inward. Like, you have so many great heroes here in America that have done so many things. And we have so many war heroes, and we have like Dr. Ben Carson. You guys called him all type of coons, but he was the first man to successfully separate conjoined twins. He's the first surgeon to ever do that. Like, that's huge. And you guys, like, you called him all type of coons, and this is an American guy, grew up on American soil like you. And it's like y'all go searching about, looking for something outside of yourselves or whatever, when we have so much rich, great history here. And it's annoying. All this Africa stuff. Like, you. Okay, it says the IMF approves Burkina Faso's third ECF review, unlocking 32.8 million total aid, nears 131 million. Okay, so their growth hits 5% in 2024, seen slowing to 4.2% in 2025, and security hurts mining. So it's probably like some violence or conflict going on, which is getting in the way, right? So program on track despite missed targets, reforms advance, deficient narrows to 5.8. So that's some of the things that they wanted him to reduce and take care of as far as the fiscal budget and things like that. Okay, so they're saying that the deficit narrowed to 5.8%, so it was higher than that. It says on June 20th, 2025, the IMF Executive Board approved the third review of Burkina Faso's program under the extended credit facility. This approval unlocks an immediate 32.8 million disbursement. Since September 2023, the IMF has provided nearly 131 million in financial support. So I'm not going to even try to mess with that jumbo. Moving right along. Burkina Faso's economy grew 5% in 2024 thanks to the strong agriculture and a service sector rebound. But endemic insecurity countries continues. Oh, get it together, girl. Continues to hit the mining sector hard, a key export pillar, and so that's due to the conflict and the violence. People are stealing. You got a lot of people, in China or whatever. I don't know if China's over in Niger or whatever, like, but you got a lot of people who are stealing or whatever. And I don't blame the locals for doing it because it's theirs. And they should have act. They shouldn't have to steal from themselves. They should be able to get what they need. Everybody there should be rich. And that's what I want to point out. I want to show something else to you guys in a minute. But right here talking about the growth, it says despite the challenge. I'm gonna skip through this because I really didn't want to go through the whole article. Because I wanted to get into what he had to do. Despite these challenges, I am the government included. Okay, here we go. Okay, despite the challenges, the conflicts going on, despite these challenges, the IMF program stays on track. Burkina Faso missed two performance targets at the end of 2024, the primary budget deficit and net domestic financing by 6%. So those were two benchmarks that they wanted them to hit that they're telling you that they missed or whatever, right? So the GDP still, the government included corrective measures in 2025 budget. The IMF accepted these and granted waivers, structural reforms in advance. The country met 7 of 8 benchmarks, completing the last before this review. So the benchmarks are just things that they wanted them to do to improve their fiscal budget and different conflict and stuff going on in their country so that they could get that money. Okay, so they ended up doing all of this. I don't know if this is the right article. I think I got the wrong article here. And I wanted to click on something else, but I could just go over briefly. Like they wanted them to reduce their fiscal deficit to less than 3% and avoid arrears, right? Pay everything on time and everything so that you don't have any arrears or anything going on. Debt arrears, external and domestic. So all the bills that they had domestically, they wanted them to reduce that drastically. The debt and all the external debt, they wanted them to reduce that. Okay, and they did, some of that or whatever. They met some of the benchmarks. They also wanted them to revise their tax code, and they want them to manage the wage debt. So they want them to get a cap on the wages over there. Okay, so that's something. Then they want, I guess this was a part of the Democratic, they put this in there, the climate and resilience, because I can't see Republicans really enforcing that, but you have climate and resilience here, and they want them to do some type of initiatives for climate. That sounds like Democrat written all over it. Who knows what that's going to be, but they want them to do that. But basically, he met these benchmarks so he could have access to this 32.8 million in growth, and this money comes from the IMF, in which France and the U.S. is a part of. In case you didn't know that, I believe we created the IMF, right, in '54 or something like that. So, what kind of sovereignty are you really gonna have if you are still taking money from countries you call yourself getting rid of? When in actuality, the only thing he did was just swap out military forces. He just opted to say, okay, I'm going to let Russia do what America and France was doing. We want you out. We tired of you. We feel like we're going to get treated better with Russia, but you're still getting money from us. And he still has to meet all these guidelines. He still has to twerk his ass off to get this money. So the celebratory stuff you were doing, it's foolish to people who know a little bit better, because it's like, okay, oh, he got the military out, but in all actuality, they still need us. They need money from us, and we're still going to do business with them. It's not like they really shutting America out like y'all thought. Like, oh, they just getting America out. Go over here, America, sit down and win. But no. And that's not in our interest. Why would you go against your own interest? That's very foolish. Very foolish and idiotic, and it makes no sense to have this loyalty to a country. You don't have anything in Burkina Faso. You think Torre is going to set something up for the American Negro to come? Well, we're going to set up a hub just for y'all American Negroes to come over here and do what y'all do. No, no, they've never done that. They haven't done that for themselves. Listen, nobody in Africa could have been liberated itself a long time ago. They could have helped. They could start by feeding each other. It's no reason for anybody in Africa to be hungry because there are certain places in Africa that have a huge abundance, and they could help each other. A lot of them are very, very wealthy. They could afford to export. They could do something about some of the soil there or whatever doing it, but they can do a lot of things themselves to make Africa better, where they wouldn't need any dependence, but they prefer to have somebody come in and kind of do it for them for whatever reason, you know. And the wealthier keep getting wealthy over there. Plenty, it's so many wealthy Africans or whatever. Why, they could, in Africa, it wouldn't require a lot. It's not like America. So in Africa, to set up toilet bowls in people's homes and to just give them a little bit better standing of living, it wouldn't cost them African shit to do that. It wouldn't cost none of them wealthy ones. It wouldn't cost them anything to do that. But they hold up this thing, oh, the West. The West is doing this. It's the West fault. This happened. It's the West fault. And it's a shame to hear so many American Negroes, FBA, ADOS, whatever, all of us saying it's not whatever in disrespect, but just like we got so many goddamn names, it's hard to keep up with. But just like, it's just ridiculous. Like I said, to hold on to this fantasy and this admiration that you have when you don't get anything out of it. You don't get anything out of this relationship. And it's, like I said, you will bypass your own war heroes and your own people who have done medical things or whatever. Y'all talk about it, but just in a combative situation. Like if you're talking to a white person or you're talking to a Latino or somebody else you may be in debate with, it's like, oh no, we did this, we did that, we did this, but you're really not in celebratory of that. But you will celebrate Africa and this and that and the third, and why they don't give us no land. Like, who the fuck, why do you want land over there? Why do you want to be in a place where they themselves have civil conflict, they don't get along with each other, and you gonna go over there and do what? You the American over there, so how you think they gonna look at you? And you're gonna be nothing but a Vic if you don't gonna have military protection over there. You're gonna be nothing but a target for them. So I just wanted to show this right here. Yep, your King Torre. Y'all was out here celebrating. Y'all got it wrong. You got it wrong because he's very much intertwined with America still and France. Okay, and China and all those 100 and other 90 countries that are part of the IMF. And they sit down and they decide what policies and stuff, countries are going to have to do if they want their funding. So, we're always going to be there. And you should always want America, to be on top, baby. I don't know why you wouldn't. Nobody, that's right. You're not going to get by without America. And that's right. And that's how I feel about my country. You're not going to get by without us. We're always going to get, what we need to get. And so I will be nice to hear more black or more FBAs and more ADOS men and more freedmen talking like that instead of talking like you are a third class person in your country. I get what we are up against, but still you should never like openly refer to yourself as being like some third class citizen and putting others above you and acting like Africa is so great. And I'm going to show you something briefly right after this. I'm going to show you a little something about their corruption over there. So what I wanted to show you, but I just wanted to, this is like a constant money pit to me. It's like we're constantly just throwing money into Africa. I would love to see a lot of this investment go towards the American Negro community. Because if you put this type of investment to us, we would do more at home. It would be more, beneficial, I think. I don't know why the World Bank won't invest in us. Because I don't know. But yeah, they getting some debt reconstruction or something like that. Because Ghana was on the brink of bankruptcy. Pretty much, their currency wasn't worth shit. I had the audacity to buy some gold-backed dollars from Ghana. I don't know why I did that. God knows. I guess they'll just be like a decorative piece or something like that. Pretty much. But yeah, look at that. 2.8 billion. They celebrating like they really gonna get some of that. But what I wanted to I wanted to go over it with somebody out here committing some type of crime over there. One of those little boxes. Okay, here we go right here. Oh, they putting up new titles. It says Ghana's OSP charges former MPA boss over 280 million extortion and money laundering scheme. Okay, so like this the type of stuff that's going on over there. $280 million extortion and money laundering. Excuse me. So this is why that's why a lot of things don't get resolved over there, and it's just like a constant money pit. It's like you're gonna keep constantly throwing money there because it's always this corruption going on there. And a lot of people always talk about Ghana. I hear a lot of American people, Ghana this and Ghana that, and Ghana this and Ghana that. But yeah, it's a lot of corruption in Ghana, a whole lot of corruption, and I don't know. I don't know why so many people view Ghana, Nigeria. Like I don't know why they view these places as places of refuge and places where greatness is taking place because it's a lot of stuff going on there. They're sacrificing like the money sacrifice of the children. I think that's the Yahoo boys or something like that. Or whatever, Yo-Yo, Yahoo, whatever they call themselves out there. They're doing a lot of damage or whatever. One of these countries is about to kick Nigeria out. Nigerians out. I think it's Ghana. One of these countries, they're about to kick Nigerians out because they're over there sacrificing, I think, some of the children. I think they have started to do that over there. But then at the same time, they in Ghana, they are still practicing the slave trade, where they were selling off children, their own children, to like fishermen and stuff like that. And then you have the girls who, will sell themselves for fish. And some of the women will, they'll sell their children for like, business purposes. Like if their business is failing or whatever, they'll take the child who they feel like is like bad luck sometimes. Like it's the child's fault that they're having, financial problems. So they blame the child and they'll take that child and they'll say, okay, well, I'm going to get rid of this kid. And they'll sell that kid and, it's just a sad situation. And it's like all this corruption constantly going on. I told you they could take care of themselves, like the hunger and stuff like that. That doesn't have to occur. A lot of things that happen there don't have to occur. They could take care of that themselves, and they choose not to. If it was black people and we, somebody like, if we knew people in Texas or people in Alabama or people in Georgia somewhere. Was it like Macon or something like that, right? That's where my daddy was from. He's from Macon or whatever. But let's say people in Macon is starving and whatever, and everybody on the internet here, little people in the people in Macon is starving. You think we ain't gonna fucking put up a GoFundMe and somebody ain't gonna drive down there and give the people food and make sure the people eat? We not gonna sit here and be like, too bad, y'all. I said, I'm not, we're not going to sit here and do that. No, we're going to make sure we send money and do whatever we can to give food to the people. And so this is why I'm saying we're different people. We are not them. And they are people who ever want to be African American, let them be African American. We are not African American. This is what I told people years ago on my first channel, scratch out the African and write Negro. That way you got Black, American, and you got Negro. That's it. You just scratch out the African part. Just get rid of it on paper. You know. I mean, I don't want to connect myself to this. They brutally mutilate women. Oh, the fucking e-bikes. They brutally mutilate women with FGM. You have child brides. It's a lot of stuff. And I'm not saying like, we don't have no problems in America. But the type of problems they kind of have is completely different than what we're going through. And yes, we need to pull back and rein it in. And, a lot of things we need to do. But it's, in comparison, nothing similar at all. We're like angels compared to a lot of the things they got going on. So I really wish black men would stop doing this. I just want to go. I don't want to make this video too long, but I just want to go over the comments a few of the comments right quick or whatever. I just wanted to show you the corruption over here. This is what's happening. They pouring money in, and people are taking the money, and this is what they got going on over here. Get to the comments. I think I have like three here. It'll be really short. It's the first one. And this is Soto. So it's one of Sotomayor babies. Captain Ibrahim Torre, Black America stands with you. Well, I don't know. I'm not Black America or whatever. I'm an American. So I don't know. The Black America thing. I don't know about that. We FBAs, ADOs, freedmen. So I don't know who Black America is. This is Bernice. I am black and proud and love Ibrahim Torre. She got it in caps. Africa is very wealthy place. Okay, that's what she wrote. Bernice is black and she's proud. But she got her ass in America. And this is the last one right here, the African. And there were many, many more. I'm being light here because I didn't want to really embarrass black men like that because y'all was really, oh man, the amount of nut hugging was, it was disgraceful. It really was. The American Flame. Torre just showed the world that Africa can choose its own path without asking permission. We need to keep supporting each other and stand strong together to protect our future. United Africa is a powerful Africa. Now, I don't have a problem with the statement. You know why? Because clearly this is an African person. And I totally agree with him. A united Africa will be a great Africa. And I wish they would do that. I wish they would unite. I much prefer them unite and work on each other than them being our business. It would be a pleasure to see them working on their own business, staying out of our business, and us staying out of their business. That's another thing. We can't be like, oh, this and that. We're delineating, and then if something happens, act like it's our job to run it. No, it's not. It's like let them handle their business, and we need to handle our own business. So, yeah, people who were born in Africa are, in fact, African Americans. This is yet another time that black men, you got egg on your face for celebrating this guy. He is no king, and he is not for African sovereignty. He's the biggest cloud chaser I've ever seen. From Africa, I'm gonna say it like that because America know damn well we got the biggest cloud chasers, but he just cloud chased y'all. He clowned y'all, and y'all fell for it. Y'all took the bait. So let this be a lesson to you that focus more on America, American issues, and look inward, black man, and love yourself, black man. Love the warrior in you, the inventor in you. Be a better you, black man, and stop searching all over the place.